Baylor baseball has released the 2024 schedule, and last year they went 20-35 overall. And there are going to be some changes to this year's schedule, obviously. And I tell you what, it's not an easy one because only 11 games against losing record teams, which I would note NCAA tournament teams and winning record teams and losing record teams. First of all, on the Shriners Children's College Baseball Showdown, they play Nebraska. That's just a winning record team, like 33, 23, and 1. Oregon, and then Tennessee. That's February 16th at 11 a.m. Central Time. Then February 17th, same time. And then Tennessee, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And Tennessee was a college baseball World Series team, and Oregon was a Super Regionals team. So that's not an easy right off the bat, let alone the Nebraska game. Then they play Lamar on February 20th at 4 p.m. Central Time, and Lamar was 32 and 23 last year. Then they play Indiana in a series on February 23rd at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Then February 24th, 2 p.m. Central Time, and February 25th, excuse me, at 1 p.m. Central Time. And Indiana was a regional team last year, and so that's already that. And then you have to play Abilene Christian February 28th at 4 p.m. Central Time. And Abilene Christian last year was 35 and 24, so that's not a bad team. Then they got to play Oral Roberts, who made it to the World Series and from like March 1st to March 3rd. Oral Roberts is like 6:30 p.m. Central Time on that Friday, 2 p.m. Central Time on the 2nd, and 1 p.m. Central Time on the 3rd. And we'll know it's probably going to be on like ESPN Plus, but you get the point. So that's not an easy game right there. Then you play Dallas Baptist, and this is the first of two meetings with Dallas Baptist, by the way, on March 5th at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And Dallas Baptist made it to the regionals last year. And they're annually there consistently, so they're not a bad baseball team by any means. Then they get to play Houston in the Big 12 series, and they avoid Oklahoma State and Kansas State in the Big 12 this year. So just let you know, like March 8th, March 9th, and March 10th, 6:30 p.m. Central Time for the first two games. It's on the road for all three games. And Houston, that last game is only 1 p.m. Central Time. And Houston was 36 and 23 last year, so yeah, that's not a. Then they play Stephen Austin on March 12th at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And Stephen Austin was a losing record team, like 22 and 28, so that's not. Then you get to play Texas Tech at home for three straight home games. And the Big 12 series at home, like March 15th at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. It's March 16th, 2 p.m. Central Time. Then 1 p.m. Central Time on the March 17th. And they made it to the regionals last year. Yeah, so yeah, that's not an easy game. Then they play Sam Houston State on March 13th at Sam Houston State, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And Sam Houston State was a regional team last year, so yeah, that's. And we're going to play them twice this year, but it's like later on down the line. Then they play Texas one last time, and they'll be in Austin. It's March 22nd at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. March 23rd, 2 p.m. 2:30 p.m. Central Time, and March 24th at 1 p.m. Central Time. And they did make the Super Regionals last year, so yeah, that's not going to be easy, as we all know. Then you have to play UTSA at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, which they were a winning record team a year ago with 38 wins and 19 losses, so that's not bad. Then they play Cincinnati in the Big 12 series, and that's at home. And UTSA game is at home, by the way. March 28th at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. March 29th. At 6:30 p.m. Central Time, and March 30th at 1 p.m. Central Time. So, yeah, that's a Big 12 series, and Cincinnati was like 24 and 33 a year ago. Then they play Houston Christian University, also formerly known as Houston Baptist. That's on April 2nd at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And Houston Christian was 11 and 37, so that's their cupcake game, so to speak. And then April 5th through 7th, they play Incarnate Word, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Central Time, and 1 p.m. Central Time, and those are home games. And Incarnate Word was like 28 and 26 last year, so a little above 500. Then they play Dallas Baptist again, and it's another road game at April 9th. That's 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So yeah, that's not gonna be easy. Let me try to get this schedule pulled up again because it's wanting to be slow. And I'll go over like expectations for the team, and when it comes closer to the season starting. By the way, okay, I'm gonna just decide to just go to like the Baylor Twitter account instead of the Baylor baseball website, just to make it faster. It seems like it's a little slow here. And I want to include the times on the games, and I know those times could be changed because of weather and all that. And I'm just saying. And by the way, on the Big 12 slate, they did increase it to 30 conference games, and it's only the top 10 teams make it to the Big 12 tournament. So it's not like it was in the past with 8. So just a FYI on that situation right there. Okay, then they play BYU at BYU on April 11th through 13th, and the first two games are 7 p.m. Central Time, and the last game is at 2 p.m. Central Time. And BYU was a losing record team, like 24 and 28. Then they play UT Arlington April 16th. They were like 29 and 29 last year, and it's on the road, and it's the first of 2 games with them. It's April 16th at 6 p.m. Central Time. Then they played Kansas. They were in the Big 12 series April 19th at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Central Time the following day, and the following day after that, 1 p.m. Central Time. And Kansas was 25 and 32 last year. Then they play Sam Houston State again, but this time it's at home. That's April 23rd at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Then they play at West Virginia, and they made it to regionals last year. April 26th at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. Next day, 3 p.m. Central Time. The following day, 10 a.m. Central Time. Then they play UT Arlington at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, and this time it's at home and not on the road at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Then they play TCU in a conference series on May 3rd and May 5th. 6:30 p.m. Central Time is the first game. 2 p.m. Central Time is the second game. 1 p.m. Central Time is the third game. They play Tarleton. It's May 7th at 6:30 p.m. Central Time in Tarleton. And we know that TCU went to the College Baseball World Series. And Tarleton State was like 26-26 last year. They play Oklahoma as well. They made on the road in the conference series May 10th through May 12th. 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Central Time. Then they play TCU again on May 14th, but it's on the road and it's at 6 p.m. Central Time, and it does not count as a conference game. And Oklahoma, by the way, was a regional team like a year ago, so yeah. And then last 3 games of the season are like UCF at home, May 16th through May 18th, 6:30 p.m. Central Time for the first 2 games, and 1 p.m. Central Time for the last game. So 44 games out of 55 are against winning record, if not NCAA tournament teams, which I know it's not how you're supposed to judge a schedule necessarily, but it's good quality teams right there. And I know we're trying to bounce back after last year's disappointment of not making the Big 12 tournament under Mitch Thompson, but we have to wait and see how they do. And 33 of those games are at home out of 55, so only 11 games against losing record teams. That's only a fifth of your schedule is losing record teams. That's pretty good. I mean, in terms of quality, it's really good to test yourself. And the 53% of the opponents finished with the RPI was like 75 or better, like 74, 60. You get the point in that direction. So at least we know for a fact that the Big 12 tournament will feature only the top 10 teams, and they will play those games from like May 21st to May 25th. So we'll have to wait and see. And of course, we know the postseason is like the first day of NCAA regionals is the first weekend of June, then followed by the Super Regionals and the College World Series, set for like June 14th to June 24th, and in Omaha, Nebraska at Charles Schwab Field. Now, I'm going to say this up front. I'm not going to say this team is not going to make the. I don't see an NCAA tournament. That if they do make it this year, I mean, I want to mention this as well on like what I think about the team should be next year. I'm not going to definitely say no way to NCAA tournament, but it's a little pushing too much for a second-year head coach to get there. It's only a second year, and I do think they'll improve, but it's a matter of how many wins. And hopefully they make to the Big 12 tournament this time. So, anyways, if you like this content, like and subscribe, and see you guys later on the road to 600 subscribers. Of course, the ultimate goal is 1,000 more, so I can make money off this. Of course, liking the video, commenting the video really helps the YouTube algorithm, so more people could see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people can see it that way. If you're watching and not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It's free, and hit the notification bell as well.